Chapter 31 is so good that it's scary. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Ni Lingyue thought of asking Mark to check her calf, she felt inexplicably shy and nervous, and quickly waved her hand to say no. Yi Fan looked at where Ni Lingyue was scratched. The wound was at least 7 or 8 centimeters long. If not treated in time, there would be a high risk of infection. Yi Fan nodded to Tao Sile and said it was okay. Ni Lingyue refused and came directly to her to check her. Ni Lingyue had no choice but to let Yi Fan fiddle with her calves to check. Sometimes her delicate jade fingers had to hold Yi Fan's shoulders to barely maintain balance. The exposed area of the wound is quite large and needs to be treated immediately. In order to avoid exposing the unusualness of the holy doctor's hands, Yi Fan stood up and whispered a few words to the waiter, asking her to bring some gauze and ordinary ointment. After all, Ni Lingyue is a well-informed female CEO, and she is definitely not as easy to fool as a simple female college student like Tao Sile. The waiter brought gauze and ointment. Yi Fan applied the ointment to the wound and then covered it with gauze. With his right hand, he pressed the gauze and secretly used his palm force to treat Ni Lingyue. Hiss. Yi Fan's palm power can make the wound heal quickly, so the pain caused by the growth of flesh and blood near the wound made Ni Lingyue couldn't help but scream. After a while, Yi Fan opened the gauze and wiped off the ointment, leaving only a faint trace of healing at the original wound location. This was the result of Yi Fan deliberately leaving his hand untouched. Otherwise Ni Lingyue's calf would have been as smooth as if it had not been injured at all. Ni Lingyue looked at the location of the wound and couldn't help covering her mouth in surprise. Surprisingly, in just a short period of time, Yi Fan was able to heal this wound to this extent. With this superb medical skill and his status as the chairman of Baoli Real Estate, Ni Lingyue realized at this time that everything his best friend said was true. The man in front of me is really so good that it's a little too scary. Ni Lingyue's attitude towards Yi Fan unknowingly showed more appreciation and admiration than she even noticed. Mr. Yi Fan, how did you manage the wound to such an extent in one go? Ni Lingyue couldn't help but ask curiously. Oh, this is not difficult. The ointment I gave you just now was actually specially made by me. It has a miraculous effect on healing wounds. Yi Fan replied with the words he had prepared without changing his expression. I see. I really didn't expect Mr. Yi Fan to be so outstanding in all aspects at such a young age. I hope I have the opportunity to cooperate with you in the future. Ni Lingyue took the initiative to extend his hand to shake hands with Mark and thank him. Yi Fan stretched out his hand to hold Ni Lingyue's 5 jade fingers, and looked at her gentle expression where she had obviously put down her guard, and the corners of her mouth slowly raised a smile. It seems that there is no chance of getting rewards. Yi Fan secretly classified Ni Lingyue into his consumer list. Tao Sile was very happy when she saw that Ni Lingyue had changed her view on Mark. The three of them left the Wenjina Hotel talking and laughing. After Yi Fan and Ni Lingyue added each other on WeChat, Ni Lingyue went back to his company to work, while Yi Fan took Tao Sile back to school. Today is Friday, and Tao Sile has classes in the afternoon. After she got off the car and left, when Yi Fan was casually scrolling through his phone, Yu Ke, whom he had just interacted with in the morning, sent him a message. Junior brother Yi Fan, where are you now? I have finished all my classes. What are your plans next? Also attached below is a cute cat expression that is essential for girls to act coquettishly and cutely. Yi Fan curled his lips, then come to the school gate now, and I'll take you out to play. Yu Ke, who had been staring at the screen of her mobile phone in the dormitory, was filled with joy when she saw Yi Fan's message pop up. Okay, then get ready. I'll be there soon. After saying that, Yu Ke immediately found her best quality one-shoulder lace red dress and put it on, stepped on pointed stiletto heels, sprayed on a sweet, fruity-scented luxury perfume, and grabbed a small designer bag. Out the door, on the school road, Yu Ke's beautiful figure attracted a lot of attention. Isn't this the famous money-worshipping senior sister? She's dressed up so grandly. Where is she going? That's right. Didn't you say that she basically won't go out with boys? Why don't you go over and watch the excitement? In an instant, a large number of passers-by and classmates were gathering around Yu Ke, who were ready to pry into the gossip. Yukir had long been accustomed to this kind of environment where everyone was paying attention, so she just kept walking towards the school gate where Yifan was. At the school gate, Yifan was sitting in his Koenigsegg, tapping his fingers on the steering wheel boredly and waiting. Suddenly, from a distance, he saw a large number of people gathering towards the school gate. Taking a closer look, the person at the front and center of the crowd was Yukir, who said she was coming to find him. No wonder money worshippers are pursued by so many people. At this time, Yukir put on makeup that suited her, and she looked dozens of times more beautiful and attractive than when she was wrapped in professional equestrian clothes in the morning. It's like a picture of a walking beauty. Yukir went to the school gate and looked around. When she saw Yifan sitting in the Koenigsegg and waving to her, she felt ecstatic again. He is indeed a real rich man, and even the car he drives is so stylish and cool. Yukir quickly walked over and got into the car. Seeing Yukir stepping onto the Koenigsegg without hesitation, everyone onlookers opened their mouths as if they could swallow a whole egg. Oh my god! Senior sister Yukir really got into someone else's car. By the way, this is Brother Shenhao's Koenigsegg. Brother Shenhao is really awesome. He can even get a gold digger like Yukir easily. Everyone couldn't stop talking and eating, and several boys who pointed out Yukir's location to Yifan in the morning happened to pass by at this time. Seeing Yukir happily getting into the sports car, they couldn't help but rub their eyes. This is the money-worshipping girl's senior sister Yukir we were talking about this morning. Just one morning has passed, and she's already getting into a man's car. Who is the owner of the car? The gold digger who no one can chew off was bitten by him. No, I must see clearly who that man is. Several boys quickly stretched their necks to look at the driver's seat. At this time, Koenigsegg's window slowly lowered. When several people saw the car owner's appearance clearly, they couldn't help but feel stunned. Chapter 32 Don't Save Money for Him. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh my god! Isn't this man the one who asked them about Yukir in the morning? It turns out that he is the Koenigsegg owner who has been widely discussed in the school recently. Now he even brings the beauty and money-worshipping senior sister who has always been in love with them all in his car. Damn it, thinking about it this way, what they did to persuade Mark this morning was just pure clown behavior. Several people were embarrassed, and just at this time, Yifan also saw a few people. What a coincidence, brothers. Thank you for what happened in the morning. In response to Yifan's thanks, several boys had no choice but to open their mouths with difficulty and show expressions that were uglier than crying to say thank you. Then they looked at the back of the car where Yifan took their beloved senior sister away and drove away. In the car, Yukir asked excitedly with her two little index fingers. Junior brother Yifan, where are we going? Of course I'm going to your favorite place. Yifan replied with raised eyebrows. Yukir was a little confused, but she couldn't help but look forward to it. Not long after, Yifan drove the car to the downstairs of the Imperial Capital SKP Mall, the most prestigious department store in the Imperial Capital. Yukir's eyes suddenly brightened as she looked at the buildings outside the car. Oh my gosh! How could there be a man in this world who understood her so well? The first time I took her out, I took her to the best department store in the entire Imperial Capital. You know, Imperial Capital SKP is a mythical existence that once achieved daily sales exceeding 10 billion. On a certain social platform, it was even classified as a top department store that even a person with a monthly salary of 100,000 would not dare to visit. She felt like she was really going to love the man in front of her to death. Yifan first took Yukir to the Chanel store in SKP. Here, you can pick out whatever bags and clothes you like. Just don't save money for me. Yifan directly took out the diamond card of Saya Bank and waved it in front of Yukir and the shopping guide in the store. Naturally, they all understood the value of this card. Yukir was extremely happy. The shopping guides also worked hard to sell Yukir and brought clothes and bags for her to try out. Ding! Spend 94 yuan on a good-looking woman with a score of 101, triggering a critical hit reward. Congratulations on getting the Royal Capital SKP department store worth 5 billion. Woohoo! Yifan had a look of satisfaction on his face. the king of stores that ranks first in Asia and second in the world in terms of sales per square foot is now his. Yukur looked at the big and small bags around her, her face filled with an expression of happiness as high as heaven. Yi Fan asked her to pack up and continue to fight in the next store. Yukir quickly regained some sense from the excitement and pretended to shirk. Junior brother Yi Fan, you have spent so much money on me today. In fact, I am very satisfied. That Yi Fan clicked his tongue with some dissatisfaction. Sister Kur, don't pretend in front of me. Do you know what I admire most about you? That Yukir shook her head in confusion. I don't know. What I like and appreciate the most is that you know how to spend money and dare to spend money. This fully proves that you are different from those ordinary women outside. I don't like those women who think about saving me money all day long. They seem too polite and alienated to me. They don't regard me as one of their own at all. Seeing that Yukir was fooled by Yi Fan's new theory and looked a little confused and couldn't believe it, Yi Fan continued to add. And you know, an expert once calculated for me that if a beautiful woman like you spends more of my money, my fortune will be particularly good for me. Oh. So that's it. That Yukir finally understood and nodded. Rich bosses are more or less superstitious. She had heard of this, so she could understand that Mark kept asking her to spend money. Okay then, let's continue shopping. Let's increase your fortune even more for junior brother Yi Fan. After reaching a consensus, Yi Fan took Yukir to the Hermes store, which was higher end and more expensive than Chanel. Yi Fan Fong and Yukira walked around among the luxury goods, and then sat on the leather sofa chair in the center of the store, leisurely holding the phone and looking at it. Anyway, just leave the money and hard work to Yukir, and he will just wait for the rebates and rewards. Here, Yi Fan is sitting leisurely, while over there, Yukir is fighting passionately and bloodily on the battlefield of shopping. A group of shopping guides are greeting her, and she is too busy to keep her eyes open. At this time, a man and a woman walked in from outside the store. When they saw no one greeted them, they immediately frowned and became angry. What's going on in your store? Why don't you come to greet the guests? But a dissatisfied female voice sounded. Yi Fan vaguely felt that this voice was a bit familiar. Putting down his cell phone, the person who appeared in his sight turned out to be Yi Xiaoxiao, his first girlfriend who dumped Yi Fan after the college entrance examination because she disliked him because he had no money and no future. Mark? Why are you here? Yi Xiaoxiao looked at her ex-boyfriend who was obviously many times more handsome than before, and her tone was full of surprise. And this is SKP's Hermes store. Yi Fan is a poor guy, but he still has money to spend here. The man Yi Xiaoxiao is holding her arm is named Gu Zhongyu, and he is her current boyfriend. Seeing Yi Fan sitting alone on the sofa, Gu Zhongyu, who always liked to be domineering, walked directly to him with Yi Xiaoxiao in his arms. You are Xiaoxiao's moneyless first love boyfriend, right? It's really thanks to you that Xiaoxiao and I can get together. Brother, in order to express my gratitude, why don't you pick out what you want from Hermes later, and I'll pay you as a thank you gift. Gu Zhongyu finished speaking with a face that was obviously meant to mock Yi Fan deliberately. When Yi Xiaoxiao heard this, he immediately stopped him. Brother Zhongyu, why are you so kind? There is no need for you to spend money on such a poor loser. After saying that, the two of them immediately got up and made love to each other. Yi Fan almost vomited because of the two of them. You can just take these shabby shoes and take them away. What do you mean by wearing them to fume me? Didn't you notice that the air around me became turbid as soon as you two came over? Yi Fan fanned his nose with his hand, trying to blow away the bad air brought by the two idiots. Yi Xiaoxiao and Gu Zhongyu, who were still aloof at first, were instantly embarrassed by Yi Fan's words and actions. What's the use of just talking? I originally saw you coming to this mall alone and was alone, so I thought I'd take pity on you for Xiaoxiao's sake. Since you are jealous of me and Xiaoxiao being a couple to the extent that you say nasty things, I don't think such a high-end place welcomes people like you. The more Gu Zhongyu talked, the more irritated and angry he became, and he simply wanted to find a staff member to come out and drive Mark away directly. Just as he was searching for available staff with his eyes, Yukira trotted out carrying several classic bags and happily sat next to Yi Fan. Gu Zhongyu's eyes suddenly opened wide. Isn't this Miss Bai Yueguang, Yukur, whom he has been pursuing to no avail? Chapter 33, Show Affection and Die Quickly. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yukir excitedly raised the bag at hand and asked Yifan. Junior brother Yifan, which of these bags do you think is most suitable for me? I also want to hear your suggestions. Our senior sister Kur is so beautiful and generous, so of course she can handle every bag. Listen to me and get all of these. Junior brother Yifan, you are so kind to me. Just as Yukira was holding Yifan's arm and thanking her coquettishly, Gu Zhongyu came over with an unbelievable voice. Kur, are you here to go shopping today? Gu Zhongyu's voice was cautiously flattering, and his tone and attitude all proved the importance of Yukir's position in his heart. Listening to this familiar voice, Yukir turned her head and found that it was Gu Zhongyu who had been giving her gifts before and wanted to chase her. Her brows furrowed in displeasure. Gu Zhongyu. Why are you here? Didn't I return the bag you gave me 2 days ago? Are you chasing me here specifically? That Yukir and Gu Zhongyu were classmates in junior high school. Gu Zhongyu had been in love with Yukir since junior high school and regarded her as the only true love in his life. By Yueguang, it's a pity that Yukir just doesn't like Gu Zhongyu for some reason, especially the way he stalks her. So even though she worships money, she never even bothers to take a look at the things Gu Zhongyu gives her. Even after being with each of his girlfriends, Gu Zhongyu would still find every opportunity to inquire about Yukir's current situation and find various ways to give her gifts, just to leave a little impression on Yukir. Not only that, even though the relationship between the two of them seems to be very stable after they get together with Yi Xiaoxiao, Gu Zhongyu still happily gives gifts to Yukir as a sign of goodwill. Yi Xiaoxiao on the side heard what Yukir said, and her face suddenly turned smellier than a cesspit, but since Gu Zhongyu was her most important son-in-law after all, she didn't dare to fall out directly, so she pulled the corner of Gu Zhongyu's sleeve to pull him away. However, Gu Zhongyu didn't have her in his eyes at this moment. He raised his hand and shook off Yi Xiaoxiao's hand, and asked Yukir heartbrokenly. Kur, what does this man on the sofa have to do with you? Yifan looked at Gu Zhongyu's infatuated look and immediately became happy. Feelings, my first love girlfriend is just someone else's spare tire. And the money-worshipping female senior sister next to him is the true love that this idiot can only ask for. This is interesting. Yifan crossed his legs proudly and simply took Yukir into his arms, wanting to see how this good show would develop. Yukir was hugged by Yifan, and her heart felt like a deer. When she was feeling happy and shy, when she saw Gu Zhongyu looking sad and angry in front of her, Yukir immediately quit. It's not Gu Zhongyu, is there something wrong with your mind? Who I am related to is none of your business. And why do you call me junior brother Yifan? This man. My junior brother Yifan is the best man in the world. Who do you think you are? You, a prodigal son raised by your parents, are worthy of shouting here. Barking, Gu Zhongyu was scolded by Yukir in front of him and screamed like a bloody dog. He looked at Yukir with a hurt expression, and then suddenly turned into a vicious expression and stared at Yifan angrily. Kur, were you deceived by him? He was dumped by my girlfriend because of his poor conditions. My conditions are much better than his, no matter what. Whatever you like here, I can buy it for you. Gu Zhongyu's speech completely made Yi Xiaoxiao, his real girlfriend, unable to hold back. Brother Zhongyu, are you going too far for me by trying to please another wild woman like this in front of me? Yi Xiaoxiao held Gu Zhongyu's hand and complained with tears in her eyes. However, Gu Zhongyu just looked back at her and yanked the hand held by Yi Xiaoxiao hard, not even caring that Yi Xiaoxiao lost her center of gravity and fell to the ground. How dare you compare yourself to Kur? I don't have time to mess with you right now. If you're smarter, just wait for me. Otherwise, don't blame me for whipping you later. That the two people who were showing affection to each other in front of Yifan just now turned into a pair of resentful couples. All that is left is the man's disgusted impatience and the woman's grievance that she can only swallow. Yifan couldn't help but want to clap his hands and applaud. This is probably called, show affection and die quickly. Especially the show of affection in the evil world is as fast as the retribution in this world. After listening to Gu Zhongyu's words, Yukir realized that Gu Zhongyu and his current girlfriend had such a grudge against Yifan. That woman is so ignorant. He actually once hurt someone as good as junior brother Yifan. Yukir couldn't bear this kind of thing. After thinking about it, she had to help Yi Fan get rid of this bad breath. Gu Zhongyu, you just said that you can buy me anything I want here, right? Yu Qiu suddenly asked. Gu Zhongyu's eyes lit up with hope, and he nodded repeatedly like pounding garlic. Of course. No matter which one you like, I can buy it for you. Hearing this, Yu Qiu tapped her lips with her manicured index finger, deliberately looking like she was thinking, then he stretched out his jade finger and pointed at the bag on the entire wall opposite. Then I want a whole wall of bags, can you do that? Gu Zhongyu looked in the direction Yu Qiu pointed. The entire wall was filled with top-quality Hermes bags. Although Gu Zhongyu is the second generation of rich people, he usually has to report his expenses to his family. Based on his own personal living expenses, it would be difficult to buy just one product, let alone a whole wall. Gu Zhongyu showed a troubled expression. Kur, what I just said was about any one thing. You suddenly pointed at a wall. Yu Qiu snorted immediately after hearing this. I knew you weren't good, so I didn't plan to count on you. After saying that, she leaned on Mark's shoulder and acted coquettishly, acting like a little bird clinging to someone. Junior brother Yi Fan, these bags are just pocket money for you. Yi Fan saw Yu Qiu's little thoughts and scraped the tip of her small and delicate nose lovingly. Of course, as long as senior sister Kur likes it, money doesn't matter to me. After saying that, Yi Fan was about to call the shopping guide to come over and settle the bill. When Gu Zhongyu saw Mark's actions, he immediately laughed sarcastically. No, have you never bought luxury goods before, so you have no idea about the price of Hermes bags? Do you know how much a whole wall of bags costs? Are you brazenly saying you have to pay for them? Yi Xiaoxiao obviously didn't believe that Yi Fan could be so capable. He crossed his arms and stood next to Gu Zhongyu, thinking about watching Yi Fan make a fool of himself later. Chapter 34, The Third Critical Attack. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Several shopping guides came over in a hurry to calculate the price of the bag. Then he took the diamond card handed over by Yi Fan. Just when Gu Zhongyu and Yi Xiaoxiao raised their chins and were about to laugh at the insufficient balance announcement, the POS machine in the shopping guide successfully read the diamond card, and the payment voucher slip was slowly spit out from the machine. Ding. Spend 94 million yuan on a good-looking woman with a score of 1380, triggering a critical hit reward. Congratulations on acquiring 20% of the equity of Youwu Entertainment Media Company worth 100 billion. The third critical hit was successful. Yu Qiu is simply a blessing to me. This money-worshipping girl really found her fault. Yi Fan looked at the beautiful Yu Qiu next to him and felt more and more pleasing to the eye. Sir, your payment has been successful. We will sort and pack these paid items for you and the lady now. What? When Gu Zhongyu and Yi Xiaoxiao heard the shopping guide's voice confirming that the payment was successful, their expressions suddenly changed as exaggeratedly as a chameleon. How is this possible? How could Yi Fan get so much money at once? The two of them hurried to the shopping guide, grabbed the voucher slip from the POS machine, and looked at it. 1380 million. This guy spent 1380 million at once. Gu Zhongyu's incredible voice filled the entire store. Yi Xiaoxiao covered her mouth in shock, and her eyes when looking at Mark became completely different. Obviously, he left Mark before because of his poor family conditions. As a result, he has now become a big boss who spends more than 1,000 million at a time without blinking an eye. At this moment, Yi Xiaoxiao felt unwilling, and there was a little more longing in her eyes when she looked at Yi Fan. Here, Yi Fan was in a good mood because he had received a new reward. He pointed at a row of luxury goods and asked the clerk to wrap them for Yu Qiu. Ding! Spend 120 million yuan, trigger 8 times rebate, and get 960 million yuan in rebate. Oh my god! You are so good to me. Yu Qiu was completely impressed by Yi Fan's generosity. Now her heart and eyes are full of Mark, and she firmly believes that she will never meet a better man than him. Thinking of this, Yu Qiu completely put aside the previous reserved thoughts necessary for flirting with men, and immediately leaned over and kissed Yi Fan on the cheek. Junior brother Yi Fan is my favorite. Seeing how Yu Qiu was so flattering and admiring to Yi Fan, Gu Zhongyu felt that his heart was bleeding, but the Yi Fan in front of him could make such a big move, and he was no longer someone he could provoke at will. Therefore, apart from being incompetent and furious, Gu Zhongyu had no other way to stop Yukir from running into Yi Fan's arms. Feeling the touch of Yukir's soft lips on his face, Mark smiled and pinched her waist. Looking up, he saw 2 unsightly flies still in front of him. Yi Fan frowned and called a few shop assistants. These 2 people here are too annoying and affect my mood. Okay sir, we'll handle it for you right away. That the clerk can still tell the difference between a big customer who spends more than 1,000 million yuan at a time and a customer who comes in and spends a long time without spending a penny. Several clerks immediately made gestures to Gu Zhongyu and Yi Xiaoxiao, hoping that they would leave. Humph. The clerks in this store listen to you, but I don't believe that every store here can listen to you and drive us away. Gu Zhongyu did not dare to confront Yi Fan face to face, so he could only say a few harsh words to satisfy his craving. Then, at the urging of the clerk, he took Yi Xiaoxiao, who was looking at Yi Fan reluctantly, and left. Yi Fan rubbed Yukir's smooth little hand and slightly tilted the corner of his mouth. If this person hadn't reminded me, I would have almost forgotten that this SKP was already my property. Since he is so tough-talking, let him be rejected in every store. Yi Fan dialed the SKP manager's number on his mobile phone with one hand and explained it in a few sentences. At this time, Yukir looked at the large and small bags at her feet and quickly picked up the packaging bags of the bags on the entire wall. Junior brother Yi Fan, these bags are what I just said casually to vent your anger. Please return them now. Yukir now completely regards Mark as the man she wants to serve sincerely. In front of a man she really likes, she is still very considerate of him. Yi Fan was obviously a little surprised by Yukir's behavior, and he felt a little softer for her unconsciously. However, you definitely can't withdraw. Yi Fan doesn't want to let the entertainment media company he just acquired fly away. Senior sister Kur, as I said, there is no reason to get back the money you spent. If you really think about me, you can keep these bags safely and don't say stupid things like this again. Do you hear me? Yi Fan's slightly domineering words not only did not make Yukir feel impatient, but she was completely impressed by the domineering manliness he showed. Yukir had no choice but to nod obediently, thinking that she would repay Mark for his kindness to her in other ways that she could in the future. After Gu Zhongyu and Yi Xiaoxiao were kicked out of the Hermes store, they had their own concerns, but they still pretended to be a loving couple and went into other stores to pretend that nothing happened. However, as soon as they entered a Nike store, the clerk inside put up a plastic sign that refused entry to the 2 of them. What's wrong? Aren't there a lot of guests inside now? Why weren't we allowed in as soon as we came here? Gu Zhongyu muttered, and took Yi Xiaoxiao into another Dior store. This time, before they even stepped into the store, the clerk came over with a broom to sweep the floor under their feet, and kicked them out. No. What does this mean in your store? Are there any of you who hold a broom at your customers like this? Believe it or not, I will file a complaint against you. Gu Zhongyu was puzzled, pointed at a few clerks and started to curse. Xiaoxiao also gave several shop assistants a look of disapproval. That's right. Believe it or not, I will file a complaint against you. Several shop assistants immediately laughed when they heard this. If you have the ability, go ahead. To tell you the truth, you 2 have offended our entire SKP, Chairman Yi Fanye. Now there is not a single store in the entire SKP that will welcome you. If you know what's going on, leave immediately. Stop polluting our air here and increasing our workload. After saying that, several shop assistants glared at the 2 of them with disgust and went back to their own stores to get busy. Only then did Gu Zhongyu and Yi Xiaoxiao understand what had happened to them since they left Hermes. Yi Xiaoxiao, is your ex-boyfriend still the chairman of SKP? If you hadn't deliberately lied to me, would I have made so many fools of myself today? Gu Zhongyu pulled Yi Xiaoxiao's arm and cursed. Xiaoxiao was confused and regretful at the moment. If she had known earlier, how could she have given up on Yi Fan and looked for this useless Gu Zhongyu in front of her? The 2 of them were depressed and walked around for a few times, and happened to meet Yukir and Yi Fan who had just come out of the Hermes store, and behind them, there were a group of staff helping to carry bags. Chapter 35. She chose a bicycle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yukir saw Gu Zhongyu and Yi Xiaoxiao standing in the middle of the road, and immediately reminded him impatiently. Please give way and stay out of the way. Then he took Mark's arm and gracefully passed by the two people whose faces smelled worse than a cesspool. The staff behind them, who were hurriedly trying to keep up, accidentally bumped into Gu Zhongyu and Yi Xiaoxiao, making them dizzy. Xiaoxiao looked at Yuker's arrogant look next to Mark, and felt so jealous that she was going crazy. All of this should be hers. After thinking for a while, Yi Xiaoxiao shook off Gu Zhongyu and then came over to hold her hand, saying seriously, "Gu Zhongyu, let's break up. I find that I still can't let go of Mark, let's end it here." Gu Zhongyu never expected that the same man would take away his Bai Yueguang and his current girlfriend at the same time in one day. He looked at Yi Xiaoxiao in disbelief. "Are you serious?" "Of course. Compared to Mark, you are really far behind. Not to mention how you treated me just now in Hermes. Just stop here and don't contact me again in the future." Yi Xiaoxiao's face was full of determination. At this moment, she has made a plan. No matter what method she uses, she must return to Mark again. It is said that love during student days is the most unforgettable, but she doesn't believe that Yi Fan can really have no feelings for her at all. After formally breaking up with Gu Zhongyu, Xiaoxiao left without looking back. Gu Zhongyu was left alone in the middle of the huge shopping mall, covering his head and kneeling on the ground in pain, crying helplessly. Yukir looked at the Koenigsegg trunk full of luxury bags, secretly took out a small gift bag, and happily sat in the passenger seat. As Yi Fan drove the car, he soon discovered that the woman next to him seemed to be making some small noises on purpose. Glancing out of the corner of his eye, Yi Fan's breathing suddenly stagnated. At this time, Yukir had already taken out a pair of black stockings from the small gift bag that she had brought out specially. After throwing the stiletto heels under the seat, she began to decorate her beautiful legs. The delicate calf skin, set off by Balenciaga's high-end black silk, becomes more psychedelic and alluring, telling the touching beauty of refusing to welcome. "How about junior brother Yi Fan? I'll wear this. Does it look good?" Yukir crossed her legs and rubbed them to show off the smooth feel of the black silk. "Would you like to put your hands on it and feel how silky it is?" The fire in Yi Fan's body was rising. This woman is really a witch. There was no way. Under Yukir's soft and hard massage, Yi Fan could only free one hand, and under the guidance of her slender jade fingers, he felt the extraordinary touch with warmth. It is indeed as silky as dove. "You can't touch other places on purpose," Yukir warned in a pretended to be fierce manner. Yi Fan pretended to be stupid and asked, "Other places, what specifically does senior sister refer to?" "You bad guy. You still ask questions knowingly." Yukir hit Yi Fan on the heart with a small pink fist. The atmosphere in the car was just right, and a sound suddenly came from the system. Ding. Mission drop, take Yukir around Imperial University on a bicycle. If you complete it, you will get a bottle of Gene Intermediate Upgrade Fluid. Bike around campus. What kind of weird mission is this? However, the last primary upgrade liquid brought Yi Fan's appearance and physique to a higher level, so he was still looking forward to the effects of the intermediate upgrade liquid. No way, it's all for the reward. "Sister Kur, when you get to school, I'll take you around the campus on a bicycle. What do you think?" Hearing Yi Fan's proposal, Yukir immediately looked happy. "Really? Then aren't we just like the sweet campus heroes in idol dramas?" Okay. As long as it's something junior brother Yi Fan wants to do, I'll be happy to cooperate. Otherwise, it is said that the emotional value of gold worshippers is high. How can a man not love such a woman who is obedient and sensible, and lets her do whatever she says? When he arrived at the entrance of Imperial University, Yi Fan put Yukir down first, let her wait here until he puts the car away, and then ride his bicycle to pick her up. Yukir nodded obediently, and then stood quietly on the road waiting for Mark to come over. However, after all, Yukir is a dazzling presence wherever she goes. At this time, she is wearing an eye-catching lace red skirt and high-quality black stockings. After a while, she attracts all the students passing by on the way to school. Look, Mercedes-Benz G worth more than 200 million slowly drove over and stopped next to Yukir the next second. Sitting in the driver's seat was Ji Lingchang, a sophomore who had chased Yukir before. "Senior sister Kur, where are you going when you're so beautifully dressed? Why don't you just get in my car and I'll take you for a ride?" Yukir glanced at the person indifferently, then raised her chin and looked away without replying. it was not just once or twice that Ji Lingchang was not looked at by Yukir, so at this moment, not only did he not feel discouraged, but he also wanted to try harder. Senior sister Kur, just give me face this time. I promise to take you to interesting places. I can buy you whatever you want depending on the situation. That Yukir was a little annoyed by Ji Lingchang's self-promotion, and was about to ask him to go away when she saw Yi Fan appear on a bicycle. The impatient expression instantly turned into one of ecstasy, and Yukir immediately ran towards Yi Fan with joy. When he saw Yukir running to a man on a bicycle and happily sitting on the back seat of the bicycle, Ji Lingchang felt that his entire spiritual world had collapsed. Why would Yukir, a well-known money-worshipping girl, sit on the back of a man's bicycle instead of riding in his luxury car? And he's so happy that he can't even pretend to be. Not only Ji Lingchang, but also the passing classmates were extremely shocked at this moment. Why are they collectively dreaming before it gets dark? The money-worshipping girl who loves money as much as her life is now starting to have pure love. Everyone, without exception, had their mouths wide open, and their lips could not be closed for most of the day. Ji Lingchang couldn't hold himself any longer. He stuck his head out of the car window and immediately asked Yukir. Senior sister Kur. That's a bicycle. And it's a fucking shared bicycle. Why would you rather choose a man on a bicycle than me? At this time, Yukir had already sat firmly on the back seat of Yi Fan's bicycle, holding onto the corner of Yi Fan's clothes with 10 slender jade fingers, with a happy smile on her face. No reason, probably because you are not junior brother Yi Fan. As long as it's junior brother Yi Fan, no matter how many wheels he drives to drive me, I don't care as long as I can stay with him. I will be happy. That this speech once again gave Ji Lingchang and the onlookers a lightning strike. In the complete shock of having their worldview bombarded, everyone could only watch helplessly as Yi Fan used a shared bicycle to carry the beautiful Yukir farther and farther. Chapter 36 Confession Professionals. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Even if they are riding bicycles, they are a beautiful sight on the school road, especially after other students discovered that the person sitting on the back seat of the bicycle was the famous money-worshipping female senior sister Yukir. They couldn't help but take pictures with their mobile phones. For a time, the entry money-worshipping girl Yukir would rather sit on the back of a bicycle and cry. Quickly topped the list of Taito University campus forums. The entire campus suddenly fell into a heated discussion about the money-worshipping girl. Many second-generation rich people in the school who loved Yukir cried bitterly, wondering where they had lost. Some people even took the lead in setting up a heartbroken alliance for the lovelorn to commemorate their completely dead possibility of chasing Yukir. Here, Yi Fan and Yukir were just immersed in the beautiful scenery of the campus in the evening. Yukir's arms completely wrapped around Yi Fan's waist and hugged her tightly. She never thought that her heart could be with a person. The man is so close. The bicycle rode downstairs to Yukir's dormitory, and with a sudden stop, Yukir jumped directly onto Yi Fan's back. The triumphant laughter came, and Yukir could only pinch Yi Fan's waist and cursed, I hate it. I just hired a reliable classmate to deliver the bags and luxury goods I bought for you today to your dormitory, so you don't have to make an extra trip. Hearing Mark's words, Yukir's heart softened again. This man is always so caring. I really have no way to resist him. Yeah, thank you, junior brother Yi Fan. Today is the happiest day I've had in so many years. Just verbal thanks? Yi Fan asked deliberately teasingly. Yukir liked Yi Fan's sometimes unruly look. She arched her eyebrows and immediately hugged Yi Fan's arm and kissed him on the face. Then he ran up to the dormitory building with a shyness that he didn't even expect. She had to hold back her racing heart while running. This man was too much for her to resist. Yi Fan downstairs looked at Yukir's running back and couldn't help but smile. Suddenly, the cell phone rang. It was a call from Luo Hanji. After pressing the connect button, Luo Hanji's distressed and slightly scared voice came from the phone. Hey, is this brother Yi Fan? I originally planned to go to dinner at this hour, but now there are strange people at the door of my dormitory building who keep calling my name and asking me to get out. The cry that passed by for a moment was suppressed by Luo Hanji. Can you come and pick me up? I'm a little scared. When Yi Fan heard this, he immediately frowned and quickly comforted. Sister Hanji, don't be afraid. I'll be there right now. You wait for me. Yeah, thank you brother Yifan. After getting Yifan's response, Luo Hanji's original fear was finally suppressed a lot. She poked her head out of the dormitory building and saw that the leading boy was still calling her name through the loudspeaker, and there were a circle of classmates watching the excitement. She could only secretly pray that Mark would come here quickly to rescue her. Yifan here quickly arrived near the dormitory building where Luo Hanji was. From a distance, there seemed to be many candles arranged in the shape of a heart on the ground where a group of people were gathered in front of the dormitory building. Luo Hanji was looking inside, and as soon as he saw Yifan appear, he immediately ran to him in small steps. Yifan quickly stretched out his hand to protect the person. Don't be afraid, I'm coming. The boy who was shouting Luo Hanji's name with a loudspeaker saw Luo Hanji rushing out, and quickly led several brothers in the direction of her running. Hanji, don't run away. As long as you listen to my confession, you will understand how sincere I am to you. Yifan slowly raised his head after listening to this somewhat familiar voice. The boy holding the horn was stunned when he saw Yifan's face. Yifan raised his forehead and said helplessly, "Why is it you again? Are you a fucking professional in confession? Or have you set up some kind of confession club to catch beautiful women to fulfill your KPI?" That the person who wanted to confess to Luo Hanji was none other than Lu Gaoyuan, who had previously stopped Tao Xile from letting her go and insisted on expressing his feelings. Lu Gaoyuan didn't expect that he would meet Yifan again during this confession. Yifan's ridicule made him a little embarrassed to get off the stage, so he quickly picked up the speaker to increase his momentum. What nonsense are you talking about? Every confession I make is sincere. Don't ruin my reputation in front of Hanji. And don't think that just because you have money is a big deal. For my confession this time, I specially invited a capable brother of mine to help out. Lu Gaoyuan proudly pointed to the confession venue set up next to him. He will come and help me complete this unprecedented confession later. Even if you can pay more money this time, my confession will not be stopped by you. Ha 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 ha. That after speaking, Lu Gaoyuan also imitated the villain on TV and laughed. After laughing a few times, he felt that this was a bit too vulgar, so he quickly gave up. Boring idiot. Yifan was speechless. It would be a waste of air for him to say another word to such a self-centered fool. Yifan held Luo Hanji in his arms and wanted to take her away directly. At this time, Lu Gaoyuan looked in the direction behind Yifan, his eyes suddenly brightened, and he hurried forward to greet him. Brother! You're here. I haven't even started to confess yet, and the girl is about to be taken away by a bully. Who? How dare you take away the girl you want to confess to? I want to see what he looks like. Listening to the retarded conversation between the two, Yifan didn't see anyone, but he felt a little familiar with the new man's voice. Look back, yo. They really are an acquaintance again. What? Last time I told you to go to the hospital to check your brain, but the doctor didn't want to admit you because you were hopeless, right? Are you free to go out for a walk today? Yifan asked a few questions, and Feng Likun, who was walking arm in arm with Lu Gaoyuan, saw Yifan's clear face, and the obscene smile on his face completely froze. Oh my god. Why is it this brother Shenhao again? Could it be that what Lu Gaoyuan is going to confess this time is? Feng Likun looked at the girl in Yifan's arms with fear. Damn it, she is really an innocent schoolgirl who she failed to tease last time and ended up getting in trouble with the boss because of it. Lu Gaoyuan, this stupid bastard. A little thing like a confession can cause him so much trouble. She kept telling him to take care of brother Shenhao, which meant she was dragging herself to accompany him to death. Feng Likun thought about it, and it seemed that there was only one way to solve the situation at hand. Chapter 37 One Punch 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Brother, I have already set up the venue. Help me get rid of this person, and then I will officially start my confession. Lu Gaoyuan happily talked about his arrangements, and was having a heated exchange with Feng Likun. The next second, Feng Likun suddenly turned around and gave him a loud slap in the face. The crisp slap startled everyone, and Lu Gaoyuan even covered his face in grievance, wondering why he was treated like this. Brother, what brother? Who is your brother? Feng Likun made a prompt decision to remove himself from the incident. A person who can drive a sports car worth tens of millions of dollars will definitely have a net worth of more than a dozen small goals and upwards. If I make Brother Shenhao angry this time, let alone deal with him in the future, I may be tortured to death one day without even knowing how. Feng Likun considers himself a man who understands current affairs and is a brilliant person. The most correct choice at this time is to flatter the big boss so much that it is possible to make up for the mistakes that Lu Gaoyuan made before. Do you know who is standing in front of you? This is Brother Shenhao, the well-known Koenigsegg owner of our Imperial University. Is this what a little guy like you can think of? Don't call me brother today. Even if you call me daddy, I won't be able to help you do such a perfunctory thing. Feng Likun scolded Lu Gaoyuan with all his strength, instantly turning himself into the embodiment of justice, and then gave Yi Fan all kinds of rainbow farts to show his respect for him. Lu Gaoyuan was scolded so much that he couldn't find anything to say, and when he saw that his eldest brother, whom he always relied on, was so afraid of Yi Fan, he was instantly dumbfounded. Why are you still standing there? Why don't you bow to Brother Shenhao and apologize properly? Feng Likun smiled flatteringly at Yi Fan, and then patted Lu Gaoyuan's head with a strong swing of his hand. Lu Gaoyuan finally reacted stupidly at this time, and quickly apologized to Yi Fan. I'm sorry, Brother Shenhao. It's all because of my short-sightedness that I disturbed you and classmate Hanji. Please forgive me this time. Lu Gaoyuan apologized, his tone completely lacking the ignorance and arrogance he had before, replaced by a sense of fear and trembling. Yi Fan glanced at Feng Likun, who was full of flattery, and snorted coldly. You are quite sensible. Take your little brother aside and educate him well. If he offends me again next time, you will have to think about the consequences yourself. Yes, yes. Thank you, Brother Shenhao Haiyang. I will definitely teach this bastard a lesson later. Feng Likun quickly took the brothers who were following him, lined up in 2 rows, made way for Yi Fan and Luo Hanji, and watched them leave with respect. The look on his face was even more pious. After Yi Fan and the 2 walked away, Feng Likun turned around and beat Lu Gaoyuan, who was causing trouble, and his wails resounded throughout the campus. After the farce was resolved, there wasn't much food left in the school cafeteria. Yi Fan simply took Luo Hanji to Su Xianlu, a mid-to-high-end specialty restaurant in the imperial capital, for dinner. When Luo Hanji went to the bathroom, Yi Fan took out the intermediate genetic upgrade fluid he got after completing the task in the afternoon and drank it in one gulp. The fiery breath suddenly surged in Yi Fan's body, and every pore on his body seemed to have countless hot air leaking out. After 30 seconds, the abnormality in the body returned to normal. Through the reflection of the mirrored tableware on the dining table, Yi Fan saw that the skin and flesh on his face had become tighter, and every facial feature was obviously more refined and conspicuous. If his appearance was at the top level before, now Yi Fan has the appearance of a veritable school top figure, and can even become a small internet celebrity who relies on his face to make a living. Yi Fan clearly felt that the function of his eyes had also been greatly enhanced. At this moment, his field of vision was wider and clearer than before, and his brain had reached an unprecedented clear state. Not to mention the strength, Yi Fan felt that it was no longer a problem for him to hit him with one punch. Even the stainless steel spoon in his hand, he had to restrain the strength in his hand to barely bend it. Ha! It turns out that the intermediate upgrade liquid can achieve this extraordinary effect. If I drink the high-level upgrade liquid in the future, wouldn't I be completely transformed into a magical being like a stranger? Thinking that he might become infinitely powerful in the future, Yi Fan couldn't help but feel faintly excited. Huh? But why did Sister Hanji go to the bathroom for so long? Yi Fan was wondering when he suddenly heard a cry for help coming from the direction of the corridor leading to the bathroom. Brother Yi Fan. They want to take me away. Not good. Yi Fan moved and immediately came to the aisle, then she saw a handsomely dressed man pulling Luo Han to take her away. Luo Han was so anxious that tears fell all over her face. With a sharp flying kick, Yi Fan directly kicked the person away, and then pulled Luo Hanji with one hand to protect the person in his arms. How dare you rob someone here in broad daylight? Wen Daing was kicked and fell heavily to the ground. When she turned around with difficulty, she realized that it was a pretty boy who ruined her good deeds. Damn it, no one dares to get close to me now, right? Why are you guys still standing there? You're just eating the food, Wendang roared to the side, and several burly men dressed as bodyguards quickly surrounded Yi Fan. Yi Fan sneered, seeking death, he still protected Luo Hanji firmly with one hand, and punched directly with the other hand. After a while, 7 or 8 sturdy men collapsed on the ground, some vomiting blood in their mouths, and some looking for teeth. When Wendang saw this scene, her originally arrogant expression couldn't help but become a little frightened. These bodyguards of his are all specially selected from the bodyguard company. Each of them is an excellent fighter who has experienced hundreds of battles. How did this pretty boy knock someone to the ground with just one punch? This is completely unscientific. But looking at Luo Hanji right in front of her, Wendang said nothing and didn't want this girl to slip away again. How dare you beat me and my men like this? Do you know who I am? Faced with Wendang's incompetent clamor, Yi Fan smiled. I don't care who you are, I think you still have the strength to speak now. It must be because the beating you just received wasn't hard enough. Let me see, which hand did you hold just now? Yi Fan recalled it for a while, then came to Wendang who was lying down, pointed his toes towards the 5 fingers of his right hand, and crushed them hard. What? The wailing sound like a slaughtering pig instantly filled the entire restaurant, and other guests couldn't help but crane their necks to watch the excitement. You are absolutely fucked. I am the only son of the Wen family, one of the 7 aristocratic families in the imperial capital, and the only heir to the Wen group in the future. If you dare to do this to me, my father will never let you go. When Luo Hanji heard Wendang's threat, she quickly grabbed Yi Fan, fear and guilt making her face full of tears. Seeing Yi Fan take a few steps back, Wendang thought Yi Fan was afraid and yelled at the waiter to call the boss over. Chapter 38 Buy it in full. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The waiter on the side had long been frightened by this tragic situation, and hurriedly followed Wendang's instructions to call the boss. After a while, Wei Shida, the boss of Su Xianlu, hurried over. Seeing Wendang lying on the ground in a mess and several of his bodyguards badly injured, Wei Shida immediately panicked. How come the Wen family's prince was beaten like this in their restaurant? This is to settle the accounts. Isn't Su Xianlu himself also going to be implicated? Master Wen. Are you okay? Wei Shida hurried over to help Wendang up, but Wendang failed to sit up after trying for a long time. There was no other way. Wendang could only half lean against Wei Shida, and ordered him in a fierce tone. Boss Wei, if you don't want me, the Wen group, to cause trouble for you, Su Xianlu, you should immediately bring someone with you and arrest this pretty boy in front of you. When Wei Shida heard this, he was heartbroken. Good guy, you brought so many professional thugs and were beaten like this. How can he, the ordinary waiter and security guard in the hotel, touch others? Wei Shida looked at Wendang and then at the tall Yi Fan who was standing. His face was full of helplessness and he couldn't tell the pain. Boss Wei, you are deaf, aren't you? I asked you to lead people to attack, didn't you hear me? Yi Fan shook his head when he heard this. These days, it's not easy for a boss to meet such arrogant and mentally retarded people. He did have a good idea. Boss, I have a deal I want to make with you. If you make a price, I will buy your hotel directly now. You can continue to do business. If others want to cause trouble, the blame will be on me. What do you think? Yi Fan has already thought about buying the restaurant and filling in the property owner as Luo Hanji. It can be regarded as the act of spending money for her, and for the first time, there will be a critical hit. When Wei Shida heard this, he thought it was a good idea. He was already tired of flattering these young men from aristocratic families, so that he could concentrate on his own career. However, when Wendang heard this, she immediately laughed. What are you thinking about, you pretty boy? Even a young master like me from an aristocratic family can find it difficult to spend a sum of money to buy Su Xian Tower at once, but it's up to you. Do you still want to buy it directly? Wendang has always looked down on these pretty boys. Such a man, it seems that he usually makes a living by hugging the lap of rich women, but now he is still here hero saving a beautiful woman and pretending to be very righteous. He is really good at pretending. As for buying the restaurant, that's even more impossible. He didn't believe that at this age, the pretty boy would have a large amount of cash flow that he could use at will. However, in order to humiliate Yi Fan, Wen Deng began to urge Wei Shida. Boss Wei, since this pretty boy said he wants to buy Su Xian building, then give him a quote. Let him see what kind of wishful thinking he has said. 12 million, if you can pay the full amount now, then Su Xian Tower will be yours. Wei Shida also felt that there was little hope in this matter, so he only quoted the price and conditions dryly. 12 million is too little. Let me give you the full figure. I will pay you 1,200 million immediately. Then your future boss will be the lady next to me. After Yi Fan finished speaking, he took out his mobile phone and asked Wei Shida to show the payment method. Wen Deng laughed even louder when she heard Mark's words. You're laughing so hard, you're increasing the price by 800 million. Have you ever taken a business course? Are you still buying like others and giving it away to others? You can't even pretend to look like one. Spend 2,000 million to buy a store and give it to women. No truly wealthy man would do such a loss-making business. Wen Deng was even more convinced that Yi Fan was talking nonsense. Wei Shida reluctantly showed the payment method. Next second. The wealth treasure has arrived, 2,000 million yuan. That the whole place was silent. The sound of announcements filled the entire restaurant, and the sounds of other guests talking and eating disappeared instantly, as if the mute button had been pressed. Did I hear you correctly? That young man really spent 2,000 million to buy this Su Xian Tower. Oh my God. That reporting voice is absolutely true. It's just that the man who paid the money is a bit too handsome and too young. That the surrounding eyes immediately focused on Yi Fan, who calmly paid the money. Wen Deng and Wei Shida were completely stunned. Wen Deng looked at the man in front of him who was so handsome that he hated him with disbelief. Damn, 2,000 million. I actually paid it on the spot. Wei Shida later realized that he was no longer in trouble. A quickie stood up immediately. Wen Deng, who had been leaning on him, fell to the ground again without support. Her chest was hit and she spit out another mouthful of blood. Damn Wei Shida. Cough. Hello, boss. Please tell me something. Wei Shida hurriedly came to Yi Fan to ask for instructions. He remembered that Yi Fan just said that the store was for the girl next to him, so he bowed to Luo Hanji again. Our store still needs to do business. Let's throw out these people who have been lying on the ground and causing trouble for a long time. Don't let the customers see it and get upset. Yi Fan pointed to the people on the ground with his eyes. Wei Shida immediately nodded and accepted the instruction. The new boss's skills and the people in the store can't solve it, but now there are a few collapsed on the ground. It's still easy to solve. Several waiters and security guards worked together to lift Wen Deng and several bodyguards and threw them out of Su Xian building. Bye-bye. Wei Shida cleared the people away with a cheerful face, and immediately printed out the contract and handed it to Yi Fan to sign. Yi Fan pushed the contract to Luo Hanji. Hanji, you will be the boss of Su Xian Lu from now on. Yi Fan's move quickly caused love bubbles to appear in the eyes of several waitresses and guests around him. I didn't expect that what this handsome guy just said was actually true. He actually wanted to give this restaurant to that beautiful woman. Such a man is so good. Luo Hanji was so surprised that he quickly refused. Yi Fan could only whisper to her that he only allowed her to take over the restaurant temporarily for some special reasons, and would still take the restaurant back when needed in the future. After hearing this, Luo Han dared to sign his name on the contract. After all, brother Yi Fan has helped her so much and has been protecting her, so he will definitely not harm her. Ding. Spend 93 million yuan on a beauty with a score of 2,000 in good looks. Triggering the critical strike reward. Congratulations on acquiring a 65% stake in Imperial University and a Daxin private hospital with a market value of 500 billion. Chapter 39. Do whatever you want on his territory. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Fan didn't expect that now he actually owns shares in the school and a private hospital. Now his industry is becoming more and more complete. During the next meal and chat with Luo Hanji, Yi Fan learned that her delay in enrolling in school was related to Wen Deng, who had just caused trouble. At a cultural performance after the college entrance examination, that man happened to come to watch the performance, and then he said that he liked me and asked me everywhere for information to be his girlfriend. In order to avoid him from knowing which university I would go to, my parents had no choice but to take me back to my hometown for a while, and then I found another opportunity to register at Taito University. As soon as he recalled the days of hiding in Tibet, Luo Hanji couldn't help crying while talking. Don't worry, Sister Hanji. As long as I'm here from now on, no one in the imperial capital can touch you, no matter what family you are from. Just live your college life happily. Under Yi Fan's manly comfort, Luo Hanji's grievances that she had been carefully hiding finally broke out. She couldn't help but throw herself at Yi Fan and burst into tears. The next morning, Yi Fan got up early. Today is his first weekend after getting the system. The first thing he has to do is of course to fulfill his plan to take Song Jiro out to buy clothes. When Song Jiro came down from the dormitory, she was still wearing the same mended sweatshirt from last time. Yi Fan was a little confused. After you were promoted to Jin Taiyuan's hotel manager, shouldn't your salary be much more than before? Why are you not willing to buy yourself new clothes? Song Jiro glanced to the side unnaturally, stuck out her tongue and said sheepishly. I don't have a strong desire for these things as for clothes, it's fine if I can wear them. Yi Fan couldn't help but shook his head when he heard this. If Song Jiro hadn't been so good-looking and dressed up in such an ordinary way, an ordinary person would have been invisible in the crowd. Song Jiro still wanted to avoid buying clothes, but Yi Fan immediately put on a sad face, and the little girl obediently was tricked into getting into the car by him. If he had known that pretending to be pitiful was effective, Yi Fan would have used it to his little junior sister from the beginning. After all, Song Jiro has the highest appearance score among all the girls who can currently receive critical strike rewards. This naturally also means that there are endless high-value reward treasures behind her. The two came to the commercial street near Taito University. Every time he entered a brand clothing store, Yi Fan asked the shopping guide to pack the entire row of clothing where the single piece of clothing Song Jiro was interested in. Then he collected the clothes from several stores and paid for them together. Finally, he asked several stores to make their own purchases. Go and split the money. Although this method was very strange, the store clerks looked at the Koenigsegg supercar he drove and readily agreed to this approach. Ding. Spend 95 yuan on a good-looking woman with a score of 36, triggering a critical hit reward. Congratulations on getting 1,200% of Guangfa securities with a market value of 55 billion. 36 in exchange for assets with a market value of 1,200 billion. Sure enough, the price-performance ratio for spending money on junior sister Song is extremely high. Now I am not making money directly. Yi Fan was excited here, but Song Jiro on the other side couldn't help but wrinkled her face when she heard the amount of payment. How come senior brother Yi Fan can spend so much money on himself just to buy some clothes? Hundreds of thousands were spent at once, and the speed of spending money made her wonder if Yi Fan's family was printing money. Senior brother Yi Fan, can I return some of these clothes? As soon as Song Jiro asked cautiously, she was immediately stopped sternly by Mark. Of course not, the clothes are bought for you to wear, and if you are trying to save money, these stores do not accept full refunds. If you return it, it will only be more wasteful. Yi Fan advised him appropriately. Song Jiro frowned even deeper when she heard this. By the way, did you say you were short of money last time? Just tell me the amount and I will write you a check directly now. Although Yi Fan is not sure whether direct transfer is considered as consumption for girls, it's useless if you don't try it. What's more, Song Jiro helped him with so many rewards, even if it was just a small thank you, it was nothing. Song Jiro quickly shook her head, pretending to be stupid and saying that she never said she was short of money. At this moment, a call suddenly came into her mobile phone. Hey, Mom. What's wrong? Oh, baby, that's not good. You just used your salary advance to buy your dad a special needs ward. Your dad just moved in less than a day ago. Today, the director suddenly came and said, your dad won't be allowed to live in this room anymore. Ah. He said that this house is now going to be occupied by someone else and that we have to move out within 2 hours. But you know that your dad can't keep messing around in this situation. What should we do now, Nanny? After Song Jiro heard clearly what her mother said about the cause and effect, she suddenly became anxious. Mom, don't let Dad move yet. I'm going to go over immediately to see what's going on. Just wait for me, I'll be there right away. Song Jiro's anxious look when she was on the phone was noticed by Yifan. After hanging up the phone, she was just about to ask Yifan to give her a ride when she was already pulled into the car by Yifan. Where to go? Yifan asked. Dexin Private Hospital on Imperial Capital 3rd Street, please excuse me, senior brother Yifan. Such a coincidence. Does it happen to be the hospital he just took last night? From the conversation on Song Jiro's phone, Yifan roughly knew what happened. This was interesting. He wanted to see who dared to do whatever he wanted on his own territory. With a bang of the accelerator, Yifan drove Song Jiro straight to Dexin Private Hospital, the main entrance of Dexin Private Hospital. Yifan randomly found a temporary parking space and parked the car. Song Jiro was just about to thank Yifan for sending her here, when she saw Yifan also getting out of the car. I'm familiar with this hospital. If there's anything you can't solve later, I can help you. Brothers and sisters, you won't have to shirk me for such a trivial matter, right? Yifan teased in a relaxed tone. Hearing Mark's words, Song Jiro felt infinite warmth in her heart. Thank you, senior brother Yi. Yifan touched Song Jiro's head to express comfort, and the two quickly rushed to the ward floor where Song's father was. Before they reached the door of the ward, the two heard a man's commanding voice coming from inside the room. Anyway, you can't live in this house now. Regardless of whether you paid or not, you must move out immediately. After saying that, there was another sound of heavy objects being moved inside. Song Jiro hurriedly ran to the ward to protect her father's bed. Yifan opened his mouth in time to scold the few people living in the house who were moving things. What are you doing? I've paid a lot of money to be hospitalized, and you just want to drive me away? Finance Director Zhu Yida, who had been yelling at the Songs and his wife just now, turned to look at the person who came, and found that it was just a young man, and his expression suddenly became more arrogant. Chapter 40 It's only 500 billion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Young man, don't act like a hero here if you have nothing to do. I also act according to the rules and regulations of our hospital. Taking a step back, even if I just don't act according to the rules and regulations, can you control me? After Zhu Yida shamelessly made these remarks, he turned around and directed several staff members to move away the Song couple's things and luggage. Hurry up, or else you won't be able to check in time when the big clients come, and let's see how I settle the score with you. After hearing this, several staff members could only ignore Song's mother and Song Jiro's pleas and speed up their movements to clean the ward. Yifan frowned and looked at the financial director sign hanging on Zhu Yida's body, about to have a seizure. Suddenly, a familiar voice full of impatience accompanied the man into the ward and reached Yifan's ears. Director Zhu, my ward, you've been working on it for a long time, is it better or not? When Dang's fingers were wrapped in thick gauze and she was pushed in a wheelchair, Yifan turned around and almost laughed out loud. Is this called enemies on a narrow road? Judging from the injuries on his body, they must have been left by me teaching him yesterday. When Dang became excited when she saw Yifan appearing in the ward. Well, you thug. I was just thinking about how to find you and tell you what you did to me, but I didn't expect you to show up at my door today. When Dang immediately called some of her bodyguards to come out and catch Yifan, when he looked back and found that there was no one behind him except for the nursing staff, he remembered that his bodyguards were still lying in the ward now. After realizing this, when Dang's original arrogance suddenly extinguished a lot, and she could only urge Zhu Yida to quickly clear the rest of the people from the ward. Then he said harsh words in front of Yifan without giving up. Humph, as for you, just wait. I will settle the score with you sooner or later. Yifan saw Song Jiro and the other three helpless at this time, and was too lazy to play cat and mouse games with Wendang and Zhu Yida. Zhu Yida, right? Now as the boss of Dexin Hospital, I order you to stop your behavior of driving away the Song couple immediately. In my hospital, you still want to open the back door to others in front of me. I think you don't want to do this job anymore, right? Zhu Yida was shocked by Yifan's oppressive momentum. He did hear the news about the hospital changing hands yesterday, but it couldn't be the young man in front of him, right? Just when Zhu Yida was hesitant, Wen Deng laughed sarcastically again. I said, you don't think you bought a hotel for 2,000 million yesterday, so you think you can buy this hospital, right? I'm afraid of scaring you to death when I say it. A private hospital of DXN's level is not something you can handle. This place started with at least 100 small goals. Do you really think you are making such nonsense as you did last night? Can you make this hospital yours? Wen Deng shook her head confidently and contemptuously. It seems that the man in front of me is just a bumpkin with a little money. If the Yuan Group wants to get him, it should be able to kill him with a little trick. I didn't expect you, a prodigal son, to know something about the market. The market value of my hospital is indeed quite large, it's probably worth 500 billion. But there's one thing you said wrong. I don't want to buy it now. I've already bought it. Just bought it. After Yi Fan finished speaking, he directly dialed the number of the director of Dexin Hospital. Director Su, right? I'm in the VIP Special Needs Ward number 005 of our inpatient department. Come over here immediately. Seeing Yi Fan acting like he was real, Wen Deng still tilted her lips and made a disdainful sound. Please. This is 50 billion. Even the Yuan Group can't maintain a stable market value at this level every year, so this pretty boy directly said that he is the boss of Dexin. Who would believe it? Is it possible that he, a young man in his early 20s, can still be equivalent to the size of their entire Yuan Group? This is simply impossible. Wen Deng believed in her own judgment and quickly asked the nurse to push her to the bedside. My body is so valuable, how can I have time to waste it with low-class people like them? Yi Fan naturally wouldn't let Wen Deng get even half a step closer to the hospital bed. He stretched out one foot and easily blocked Wen Deng's wheelchair from moving. Wen Deng was angry. Director Zhu, why don't you come over quickly to help and drive this person out? Zhu Yida was trying to gain some profit by fawning over Wen Deng, so he immediately stepped forward to ask Yi Fan out. At this time, hurried footsteps were heard outside the ward. A middle-aged man's powerful voice suddenly sounded, Boss Yi. I didn't expect you to come to our Dexin hospital for inspection today. You have worked really hard. Su Runping. Dean Su immediately stretched out his hands and rushed in to shake Yi Fan's hand. Only then did he realize that there were about 10 people crowded in the ward that was supposed to be clean and comfortable. Director Zhu. How come there is already a patient in the hospital bed, and here is another patient in a wheelchair? Su Runping immediately called Zhu Yida to understand the situation with him. At this time, Zhu Yida was also a little confused. Just now this person called and asked the dean to come over, and now the dean appears here. Is this a coincidence or was it really this young man who called the dean here? And the director seemed to be calling Boss Yi just now. Could it be that he is really the big boss of his own hospital? Dean Su, can I ask you first? Who is the boss you just called, Boss Yi? And which company is he the boss of? But when Su Runping saw that Zhu Yida not only did not answer his question, but asked him instead, his face became a little ugly for a moment, but he still nodded respectfully to Yi Fan and introduced him to everyone in the ward. Director Zhu, and all the employees at work, this news was originally not going to be officially announced to everyone for a few days, but now that Boss Yi is here today, it's time for you to get to know our new boss. As Su Runping spoke, he gestured solemnly to Yi Fan with his hand. The gentleman standing in front of you is the new boss who just bought our Dexin private hospital, Boss Yi Fan. Everyone is warmly welcome. As soon as these words came out, the entire VIP special needs ward fell silent instantly. The staff were all shocked and stopped what they were doing, not daring to touch anything belonging to the songs. The only sound left in the room was the ticking sound of medical equipment. When Zhu Yida heard this, cold sweat quickly flowed down from his forehead, and his eyes when he looked at Mark were full of fear that he was dead. At this moment, Wen Deng was so shocked that she almost fell off the wheelchair.